we're here with our special exclusive series of 30th anniversary reviews.
Yes.
Of albums released in 1985.
Going back in time.
We're trying to keep you varied up. We saw some of the.
I'm thinking slabs of meat, Alan. I'm thinking slabs of meat and blood all over the place.
This is the second album from W.A.S.P, who was known at the time as being some kind of, a little bit of an oddity. Guys that'll do anything to get popular.
Shock, rock.
The Marilyn Manson of the day, let's say. They're bastard childs of Alice Cooper and Kiss. So
right.
W.A.S.P was out there. The first album, they came to recognition as with their release of I.F.U.C.K. Like a Beast, which created quite some controversy. And then they released their first album, which had great songs like I Want to Be Somebody, L.O.V.E.
And now Blackie Lawless is the Born Again.
What's that?
Blackie Lawless is the Born Again.
There we go. So here we go. Usually the second album, Jim, the phenomenon we see is like everything that we've ever had that's good, we pour into the first album and then try to get some filler for the second. Not in this case, my friend.
Not in this case,
This is a relentless album. It starts off with the title, with the first track called Wild Child. I believe it was the video at the time, the must-have video from every album. It was Wild Child. Here's a song that Blackie actually was going to give to Motley Crue. He didn't want to record it. He's awfully glad he did today, because it was a huge hit for them, but Vince couldn't reach those notes, so he ended up recording it on this album. And again, this is one of those things where they were out touring for 5 or 6 months, and they came back with very little in the bank, or most of it, I should say, was written on tour while they were touring. Sorry for that. And they came back, and again, for me, the first side, the word that comes to mind is relentless.
Relentless.
And you've got some classics on there that are still being played today on the whole album. So,
I mean, Ballcrusher. Take Ballcrusher, for example. It's relentless.
Fistful of Diamonds.
Fistful of Diamonds.
Widowmaker.
As a sort of MIDI, dynamic sort of song. Jack action. And of course, Wild Child with that middle part, which you don't see in the single or the video, right? It misses it all. It's very spooky. I know that Blackie Lawless played a big role in the production of this album, and he wanted to make sure that everything was perfect. For myself, this is probably my favorite W.A.S.P album of them all. Second
side starts with Cries in the Night, that I think is the best song that Alice Cooper never recorded. And of course, you've got the staple, I think, for their show for many years afterwards, Blind in Texas.
That's it.
So I think it took everything, all the power and energy off the first album, jacked it up, and just expanded on that. The first album had some great songs as well.
Look, the first album sounded more like an indie band trying to break, right? And this album brought him to the next level.
And this is Spencer Crawford that produced this for Pasha. At the time, he was the producer, thanks to the hits from Quiet Riot and Metal Health. Blackie has, over the years, is maybe not has not liked the production of this album, but listening to it, Jim, I think it's a step up off the first album.
And Chris Holmes, Chris Holmes plays great. The solos on the album are, fantastic.
he was a monster. He was somebody to be reckoned with back in the day, and this album proves it. So again, I think it's a very strong sophomore album. It's their second album, and it just the W.A.S.P legend continues. And this is an album that you gotta listen to because it's that strong of an album.
It defines W.A.S.P, W.A.S.P, the last command.